Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Push the Point, where we are here again, day one deck tech with none other than, this is the 8th time, it's Daniel Correas.
Yeah.
Because it's reviled. I'm good.
Yeah. But it's Root. It's Root, and we love Root, especially Kayo,
yes,
right?
Yeah. Not OG Kayo, because we've been going. Even I've seen some stuff about OG Kayo, and some of this stuff looks pretty good for him. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Kayo, the underhanded cheat. So you start the game with one weapon zone. I'm just going to jump. I'll jump ahead on this bit. I don't know why they writ it this way, because still to this day I haven't managed to find a reason why his text is written that way. He could have just written anyway. Could be something in the future. So, just like the OGK, you can only have a one-handed weapon. Instant, 4 resources, tap him, target attack action cards you control, has 6 base. So, it's coming in for 1, or is it? And then whenever the crowd boos you, create a vigor token, which is probably the handy part for his instant. But, Daniel, before we got here, what do you reckon? This hero ability.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, the ability in Limited is super boost. It's super cool to use and super funny to use. When you're playing CC, you have to. This deck is super challenging in the deck building, because you need to play a deck with who takes advantage of raising the base strength of the attack to 6.
Yeah.
And this is the key, is the base one. So every attack you play that has a boost of damage, for example, a +3, this attack has a +3 under this condition, will take advantage of this attack. So what you want to do is not playing these vanilla ones, because if you play vanilla one, your opponent knows exactly what to do. What you want to do with this deck is to attack with attack that creates a 3/10 by itself, and then you can rise the attack. So in an endgame situation with this ability, you can force your opponent to take in damage or overblock and take out advantage. On the other hand, the Kraus with you, Vigor is possibly the best token with might that you can create in this format. Vigor is super useful. We don't need to explain what happens when you have additional resources.
Yeah.
The only problem with this mechanic is that the Kraus boost you is super easy to trigger on Lyeth, but not that easy to trigger in KO unless you are ahead on life points. So with this deck, we will try to maintain our life as high as we can, especially at the beginning of the game, blocking aggressively with equipment, and then try to force your opponent taking damage with this ability.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Right. Now, your equipment suite looks remarkably very brute standard, okay? We'll start with the weapon. We've got Mandible Claw. You know Mandible Claw. If you haven't, I mean, it's tale as old as time. Why did you pick it? Why? I mean, apart from it's on the Chaos artwork.
Yeah, all the 100 weapons that we can run with Root require somehow discarding 6s. And the rest of the weapons are like, you draw these cards, and if it's at 6, something happens. If you have discarded a 6, I do something special, maybe a +1 or something like that. As it's not that easy in this deck to discard a 6, because as we are using the reviled pool, we don't have that many 6s. It's super neat situation, but sometimes we can push damage having go again with the Mandible Claw.
Yeah.
As we want to do these tricks of attacking with attacks with go again, we will try to push damage several ways. Also, as a side note, remember that the KO hero ability only target attack action cards. So you cannot use the ability on the weapon. You cannot do none of those 2-card 6. You cannot do that.
I wonder, would it be too good?
I don't think so.
No,
I mean,
don't think so.
That would be super funny to see KO smashing someone for 6 or not.
Yeah.
It's super cheating,
Yeah,
that would be fun.
That
Also, go again, 6 here. That would be super cool. But it's not the interaction nowadays.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Right, Scowling Flashback, I think, is pretty straightforward one on why you want to run this in a brute hero. It's a really good card, right?
Yeah, especially as I said, if you block aggressively with this, maybe at the beginning of the game, depending on your hands and depending on your setup, this could be super helpful to maintain your life health high. And obviously, we know the power of this card. The more the game advances, if you keep it alive, if you can afford this luxury in the game, if you can afford it, if you maintain it, you will have a super strong weapon, a super strong tool to play along the game. But sometimes you need to play it aggressively. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Scab skin levers, tail as old as time. Just really good blocking value. And hey, I mean, do you roll much?
yeah.
All right.
You roll. I mean, you roll when you have the off turn because sometimes you need to block a lot, or you need to play all your cards because as you want to keep a lot of cards to use the Kayo ability. Sometimes you want to roll the scabs and try to do these tricks. But in general, what you will do is this card is essentially a block 2, block 1.
Yeah.
Maybe you will roll once or maybe twice during the game.
Sure. And I mean, as we're talking about, your revile pool is making your 6 costs quite very limited. Apex Bone Breaker, again, bit of a block 2, block 1 situ.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a might. It's super niche, the situation where you can get the might, but at the end, many decks in the game will kill for a block 2, block 1 gloves. And sometimes you have an extra point of value, so it's cool.
Someone's going to ask this. There's the new legendary boot gloves. Doesn't that kind of work out well for the new KO? No. Okay.
No, because you don't run that many 6s on your blues. If you run, I mean, if you're KO, OG KO, and you can afford a deck with full of 6s on your blues, you can play the new gloves. But with these ones, you have that ability of sometimes randomly have a +1.
Oh, okay. It's because the pitch value has to be 6, not the attack. All right. Okay. Yeah, that makes.
Yeah, and it's an action. That gloves say action, not instant or something like that. So you need to do something with pitch, and then
if
keep
someone
pushing.
if someone was to pull that card in your Super Slam packs and wanted to run it in KO and didn't have an Apex Bone Breaker, does it matter that much? Because I imagine it's just a block 2, block 1.
It's not the big difference. You can play the new gloves if you want. I mean, as you almost never use it, maybe you will lose 1 point of value among the game.
Yeah.
If you don't want to play this deck like 100% optimize, I wouldn't. It's not that necessary.
Okay. All right. Okay. And then Tunic, because if you got 4 resources to do a thing, I think Tunic is going to be
Mats.
Yeah.
You need a blue and the tunic to trigger the KO ability. So keeping running the vigors in combination with the tunic can allow you to do a snowball triggering KO turn and turn and turn.
Sure. So I am going to ask this question because of the new player question I'd like to ask. You've got an all legendary suite of equipment, which is that I know that it's a bit of a weird one because some people go, you should always just pick up your generics, etc., etc. But if you had to say to someone, what would you highly recommend the first piece of equipment you should pick up in order to make this hero KO just work, if that makes sense? The rest of them are all block value, I imagine, in some way. But which one is just the one that just glues it all together?
I will go one step ahead.
Yeah.
I would say that I would pick 100% Scowling Flashback.
Yeah. Okay.
Not only because it's the strongest one in raw power, it's because it will allow you to swap between other brutes. And that's a really cool thing because you can buy the KO Armory deck or maybe pull it in the new gem packs and have a chest piece of equipment as a replacement for all the brutes. And Tunic, it's a good card. Obviously, is the best in the slot for KO, but you can play other things on that slot. But Scowling Flashback is an absolutely key card for any brute deck.
Yeah.
Any brute deck has to play it.
I was going to say that does seem pretty key. But yeah, there you go. That's really good. Now let's talk about this brute deck. You say?
Brute.
This has to be the most unbrutish brute deck I've ever did brutish see. So we'll start with to be honest, this deck is one of those It's one of those weird ones of where I'm like, all right, I don't really know where to sort of begin with this. But like, I suppose should we just talk brute? We'll just get all the ooga booga brute stuff done. We'll just talk about the big attacks. Is that fair?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, swing big. Hey, swing big, good card.
Yeah.
2 for 8.
2 for 8.
Yeah.
2 for 8 is obviously. I mean,
yeah.
First of all, we want big brute attacks to feel the value that sometimes the revive pool lacks.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you want to attack with one attack to increase it with KO, you have to spend many cards. Maybe sometimes the best play is just blocking with 2 cards and have a big attack.
Mm.
Or if you have go again, start with a go again attack and end up with a simple 2 for 8.
Yeah.
And it's super effective. Is the kind of brute cards that you want to run in this deck, because many of the cards that you run in the other typical brute decks require discarding 6 to have go again, or require discarding 6 to do all the stuff. These kind of cards are simple, it's straightforward, and it's pure damage. And obviously they block 3 that are super helpful if you want to combine it with Apex Bomb Breaker.
Yeah, absolutely. And show of strength is just, it's swing big number 2, right?
Yeah, it's a different swing big.
Yeah.
It's a different way to play it. This card I haven't tested at all because we are doing a day 1 deck and the expansion at this point is not released yet. But maybe in the future this card will have a deck building requirement. So maybe you will need a plan to swap it in your main deck for a sideboard card. Sure. I haven't made that. I'm not that deep on that knowledge yet.
Yeah.
Because maybe if you're playing against a Guardian and a Guardian run 40 cards that go over the 6. Yeah. You don't want to run this card because it's just a 2 for 6 in that context. Absolutely. I mean, you will need a replacement to play it. But at this point, as I'm playing against a lot of Lyads and a lot of these decks that we all are testing, the card is performing amazingly.
Yeah, so. No, that's fair. That's fair. Right. I think the next big brute slap card I've seen is Big Bully. Now, this one's probably, from what I can see, the payoff card. Like it's the card for KO, right? 10.
Yeah, it's the signature. It's the reason why it's the signature card why you like to build this deck. Big Bully, obviously, the crowd boost you is incredible because you have a bigger. So the value of paying 2 and swim for 8 and create a bigger is massive without the payback, because with swim big, your opponent can just block and create a weaken, or with the other attack with the other swim big, your opponent can just block with 6s and reduce the value of that attack. This attack is insanely good. 2 cards, 8 is good and a bigger. Also, on the other hand, it says that if you have been booed this turn, these cards gain the base strength is doubled.
Oh, and then KO makes the base value KO, 6.
Yeah, but if you attack with Volley and he's going for 8, and then you trigger the ability of KO, it doesn't check at the moment that you're attacking. So if you modify the base strength of the big Volley, that base strength would be doubled. So if you attack for 8 and somehow you gain resources onto something, you can modify the value in the middle of attack to raise it to 6 and double it to 12. Have I explained myself?
No, so basically, so the bit on the bottom doesn't say when this attacks. It doesn't tell. It doesn't say it has to be a certain point it happens. It's just constantly checking. Is this what's the base value? Have you booed? Yeah, it's 4. And I change it to 6 halfway through the thing. All right, okay, it's now 6 with double in it. So
maybe there are some cards are not included in the deck, but you can run some cards that the crowds boost you on instant speed. So maybe you can trick with this attacking and trying to make your opponent think that it's just a 4. He will increase it to 6, and you say, hey. Now I'm boot, I take the double and then do this. Or maybe do the different order. Trigger KO, your opponent do a D-react and you say, hey, now the crowd boosts me and it goes up to 12. So they're like cool interactions, cool ways to play this card. And also, there is a reason why I'm running 2. And we will see that later.
I was gonna say this
Later on the blues. Later on the blues. We will
the
talk about that later on the blues. So there's a reason why there are 2 copies of this card.
You see, yeah, I think this card, when I first looked at it, I did honestly thought this would be pretty easy to do, but it's not that easy. It's not that easy. It's not that free because you're going to need to have the resources to do the instant ability, and you need to get boots. So you're checking 2 boxes for an amazing value, but yeah, it's not that free. If that makes sense.
You need, and as I said, you need more health than your opponent. So if you want to do a 3 cards play because you're pitching 2 cards and swinging for 12 and creating a bigger, the value is insane. 3 cards 12 a bigger is over the line so far, but you need to stay higher life without blocking with 3 cards, which is tricky, but you can do it. You can do it.
Okay, yeah. That's cool. Right. That's the Brutish of Brute cards. I mean, I know outside interference is a brute card, but I don't think it's not in that camp, is it? It's a blue block 3 that does things, or am I missing something?
No, the only other brute card that I am running on red color is Take It on the Chin. That everybody thinks that it's a warrior card, but it's not only a warrior card. You can play it on brute. The reason is because you can create an agility. There's a reason for this because, as you can see, as everybody can see in the video, all these attacks that the cross boost you require staying ahead on life. So if you have a way to attack with Go Again, you can push your opponent under your health points and then use an attack that creates this ability of creating a bigger, creating buffing power and all the stuff. So what I try to do with this card is I want to gain the best Go Again, the best access to Go Again that we can have with this kind of decks, because we are not brutes. We cannot play the typical brutes. I mean, we cannot play Wild Ride, we cannot play Pulping, we cannot play these cards that require this card in 6s, because we want to have the identity of the hero, having attacks that when you increase it do something. You don't want to start with the 6s.
Got ya. Understood. Okay. Well, let's go through these non-brute cards, which are a good fair amount. I'll start off. I mean, you got Command and Conquer. I mean, it's Command and Conquer, right?
Yeah.
Right.
If you have Go Again, starting with another attack, maybe your opponent will take it, maybe not, and end up with a CNC. I want a different kind of on hit, because I want my opponent to think that maybe they want to block the first attack, or maybe not. If they just know that the way you play the deck is blocking the first attack to not fall behind on lives and then enable all the abilities, I want these on hits to do something on the second one. So if they block in the first one, I want to punish that.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Right, Jack be nimble. Hey, wait a minute. Is this some sort of Bolton deck? Hang on a minute. Jack be nimble. Nimble is a NIMBY. Are you Bolton? I'm joking. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the picture. No, joking. It's not because of the nah. It's because it's a Go Again card that we can run as a neutral slot. It blocks 3, obviously, and as if it has a +1, you have a way to trick it with the KO ability to go for 7.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty good.
It's good when the game advances and you have these kind of cards, and you have some cards in the discard pile that we will see that there are other cards that require having this in the discard pile.
Yeah.
You have ways to do really big turns. Also, it's a way to high roll your opponent, because if you do attack with Go Again, and then attack with another one, and you have maybe a way on these 2 or 3 attacks to trigger KO, the deck is good. I decided to play this one over the Stealing the Alice one because I haven't played against Gravy Bones during my testing with this deck, so I say, okay, I prefer Stealing Gold and other kind of items over the allies, but the other Jack should be almost the same.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's super contextual.
Looking for scrap. Okay, yeah. So banish at 1 cost. This gets +1 and Go Again. Same sort of deal that you're doing with Jack be nimble. And I'm just seeing that Mocking Blows costs 1. Overcrowd is a 1 attack.
Yeah,
Is there a lot of...
And
Oh, and
and
NIMBY.
Nimble, the blue Nimbles, they're
So
also
Mocking Blow, NIMBY, Overcrowded.
anime. Yep.
Okay, yeah,
So
it's the same. It's the same sort of it's the same sort of requirement. Same asking, same sort of tricks. We're just
yeah,
and getting that go again. Cool.
and in this specific case, there's a way to optimize the cost of this card because if you combine it with a two cost brute attack, you're doing a big swing of value with two cards. Because swinging for 5 and 8 is 3 cards 13. That is even better than Big Bully.
Yeah.
So you have a way to push damage even in these regular turns. But as you said, you have the requirement of having a one strength attack on your discard pile. So maybe at the beginning of the game you want to block with one of those attacks.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'm gonna skip by Mocking Blow because I want to carry on with these Bolton cards. So NIMBY, NIMBY, yeah, NIMBY.
And Nimblism.
Okay, I know those two are the same thing.
These packets come together
Yeah,
because you're running the red version of Nimblism because it's a blustery, which is fine. You're running a lot of attacks that cost 0 or 1.
Yeah.
You have the blue version, which is tricky, and then you have 5 Nimbys. I run in 5 because 6 feels a little bit clunky. Maybe the right number of Nimbys is just playing the 3 blue Nimbys, but there's a stupid thing that you can do with Nimby that is attacking with this blue Nimby and look for a blue Nimblism and then use the Kayo ability and do 1 card 6. And 1 card 6 is like super funny to play. Also, if you have an agility token because you're playing the Kit of the Chin, you have an easy way to 3-10 Kayo ability on 2 attacks, which is funny. At least it's like fucking doing funny. 1 card 6. Blocking with 3 cards and 1 card 6 is like the dream. It's super cool to do.
That's okay. That's really cool. That is really cool. You've made blue Nimbys like blue Nimbys and blue Nimblisms. Really,
and it's 1 card 6. 1 card 6 is
that
is awesome.
So why the reds?
Why the reds is because I want more Nimbus.
Right, okay.
As I don't want to run the yellow ones, I think the red ones will be okay.
Okay.
And as I said, there's an only play. You can attack with Nimby and put in the arsenal the red Nimblism. That's why I'm running to Nimblism red.
The thing is, if Nimby's like, if what my question about this then, I'm not criticizing, but if the base power doesn't matter, why not just run the yellow? Because the resource it provides is probably better than the red, and you're only going to pump it to 6 anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it makes sense because if you're running the red Nimby and you arsenal the red Nimblism, it's the same way you're doing 1 card 6 somehow, but you are moving the damage to a different turn.
Yeah,
but there are like 2 different ways, let's say, to do a 1 card 6.
I hear you.
It's just because you want to increase the value of the rest of your hand, because the rest of your hand, sometimes the best play is just blocking.
Sure.
To wait until the big book cards.
Maybe I'm just being a little bit like optimistic around the ability of being able to trigger KO's hero ability that often, right? Because if you did have a good cycle to do that, I would still say, well, the yellow one would probably still be all right because I play red Nimblism, play that for it's 5. Honestly, it's 5, bro. I did get that blue Nimblism in my hand. Honestly, bro, it's just 5. Actually, I've just bumped this up to say, I don't know. Anyway, right. Have a play, everyone. This is also the thing. If there's something in the comments you say, why don't you try this? Try it. Honestly, try it. Daniel's also tried it. He's tried a lot. All right. Mocking Blow. I haven't actually read this card way too much. So 0 cost 1 attack, block 3. That's a red one. When this attacks a hero, if you have more health, there we go. If you've got more health, you can't booze you. Ooh, and if they've been booed, this gets +4. All right, okay. This card seems like an absolute real key card for KO, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have 1 extra resource, this card in red is going for 2 cards 10 and a vigor, which is insane. I mean, this is the dream. This is what you want to do to keep the pressure rolling when you have go against.
Right.
So if you attack with 1 big attack, let's say that you have a vigor from your previous turn and you have tunic, you attack with looking for a scrap for 5, and then you attack with Mocking Blow and you have 1 additional card, and your opponent say, oh, he's going to do a lot of damage and overblocks you maybe you can put the card in the arsenal if it's
Yeah,
a
you
good
go.
blue or it's a good red. This is exactly the kind of cards that you want to play with this tricky Kayo. This is
Yes.
the cards that allows you to blur your opponent.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the if you play blue Nimby, it's super straightforward. Your opponents know exactly that you want to boost the damage with KO. But with this kind of attacks, it's like, okay, if you don't use the KO ability, it's still okay.
Yeah.
It's it's good. So that's the reason why I'm playing 8 copies, because 9 is like too much, I believe. But
Fair dues. I know. Yeah, that's really cool. That is really cool. Okay. So kind of gone through. So right, we'll keep playing through it. We've got the offensive behavior. If you control a might or a vigor token, this gets +1. And when it hits a hero, create a might and a vigor token. Bro, this card's all right.
this card is good. If you can trigger KO abilities, 2 card 7.
Yeah.
That creates Might and Vigor. So the value of this play is like 9 points. If
Mm.
we count that Might and Vigor is like 1 point of value, the card is really good if you can correctly trigger KO and everything, the puzzle fills. But on the other, it blocks 3, so the payback of not running this card is low.
Yeah, that's
On
fair.
the other hand, if you're playing cards like Blue Nimby and these kind of things, it blocks 2, so sometimes can feel a little bit tricky. This card is just block 3, and the reward is high
Yeah,
of playing it.
that's cool. That's cool. Outside interference. Now, you were kind of hyping this card up a little bit. You said you like this card in RKO. Why
Yeah,
is that? What
this
is it?
card,
What's this doing?
this card is super, super funny to play.
Right.
They're like, we can explain. I think this will take the longer part of the video, because this card is super funny, and I'm super happy for LSS to create these kind of cards.
Yeah.
It says that it's a 6 cards that is super cool for brute. Maybe for the rest of the roots, maybe in this time, the only way we can take advantage of this fact is that it's a popper. It blocks for 0, but you can block with it if you're playing against an illusionist.
Yeah.
And it enables KO weapon, the Mandible Claw.
Yeah.
So you can attack and have an additional card. You're trading 1 card from 1 card. So you're giving go again to the weapon for free, which is fine.
Yeah.
And it says that when you discard this, you may reveal a reviled attack action card from your inventory and put it on your hand.
Nice.
Okay. Inventory. First of all, I'm running 2 copies of Big Bully.
Here we go.
I want 5 chances of finding Big Bully.
Yeah.
Because in a deck building construction, I have a full kit of toolbox cards to include in my deck. Firstly, I want more copies of the signature reviled brute attack in my deck.
Right.
And then I can run different cards for different situations. Also, I'm not running that, but I can run a blue.
Yeah.
With this effect. Maybe that's the only way that we can improve from the deck, is that if I discard this and put a blue back in my hand, I give him free go again to the weapon. Mm-hmm. So I can swing with the weapon for 3, and then attack with a monkey blow, and then trigger KO ability. So there's like a big play you can do with this card. Maybe I encourage you to include a blue brute, a blue reviled card that you can include in the deck to do this play.
Yeah.
Also, on the other hand, you have a huge kit of attacks that you can include. You can include bully tactics. Yeah. That is a way to intimidate your opponent's hand, especially if you have go again. This can be a game ender if you draw it.
Yeah.
You have the tear down the idols. Yeah. That if you're playing against these new reviled heroes, the attack is good because you're intimidating, you're creating a beacon hit. It blocks for 3, and it says, okay, if you draw a full blue hand, you have a way to transform one of your cards in a 2-card 7.
Yeah.
Because you can block with the blues and then do a swing of 7. You have this toolbox. Also, you have Gank Robbery. That is a toolbox card that allows you to steal tokens from your opponent. So if you're playing against decks like Fang, you have a way to steal these fealties that allows them to do all the stuff. So there are like a lot of things that you can do with this card, and requires deck building to play it to maximize that, and it's super contextual. So this card is super cool. If I don't think that this Kayo is like a tier S hero that we will see in a lot of tournaments, but this is the kind of cards that can make this hero shine.
Yeah, no,
You have a huge range of things that you can do with this card. And
can.
worst case is a 2-card 6. That's the worst case that we can do with this card.
And it's a blue 6. It's a blue 6.
Yeah.
You know, you can't not have a blue 6. When you told me about what it could do, I was kind of like, all right. And now that you've explained it, I'm like, oh, bro, that's actually really, really cool. You I love the fact that when you put 2 in, so you just put a 3rd in. Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that, because then you'll never be able to find it. You have to draw it. But if you only have 2,
yeah,
you got 5.
I have 5 chances. I only have 3, but 5 chances.
Yeah, you've only got 3, but you've got that. That's just really cool.
This card is one of my favorite cards of the sample.
Yeah. No.
Maybe the deck is not that strong, but this card is super funny to play. It's super funny to play.
That's it. That is so cool. Right. Okay. And then Overcrowded is technically an attack. Overcrowded is your, a block for 4 when you do a codex. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously the codex interaction is super obviously strong. If you're playing against Assassin, he say, okay, Codex of Frailty, there you have the Fealty token, and I have this Ponder. And you say, okay, put this card on my arsenal and block for 4. Because now it checks the number of tokens that are on the field, not your aura tokens.
Yes.
It's a aura tokens in general. So you're playing against Fang, against these kind of heroes. This card can easily block for 5. Also, on the other hand, it's a blue that you can put in the arsenal without big payback.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to trigger Kayo ability because your opponent is overblocking you, you have a way to have this de-react on your arsenal, and it's still good because it's easy to block through with this.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
And also, it's a 1 strength attack to trigger looking for a scrap. So I think this generic card will be in a lot of decks. Yeah. Maybe contextually in specific metas, especially when Assassin is super dominant or you're playing against a big aura deck. But this fits perfectly on this hero.
No, it's cool. I love the flexibility what this card can offer. Do you know what I mean? It's a blue. It's a blue kind of maybe block 3 0 cost. Well, it's like on its own. The ambush is the power of this card, and then I love it. This card is just really cool.
Also, additional side note, it works perfectly well with Kayo ability.
Yeah, because
if there are like a couple of tokens, you're attacking for 8, which is fine.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. And then your kind of defense cards, you explain, take it on the chin, but not defense cards. I don't know the non-attacky ones. Smashback Elhorn, Might and Agility, just.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's set up an additional way to have go again, especially is the best part. Maybe depending on how far we can go and the go again, maybe this card can be the first blue that we can remove from the deck, especially if we want to give more to be more consistent with the 3 blocks. But I think the ability of and the setup, the way you can set up the first turn especially, is the way that you want to do with this deck. Because sometimes, even if you want to trigger Kayo, you don't have a way to convert your full hand. So if your opponent is just overblocking you, you want this kind of blues to play. At the end, the rest of the blues block for 3. So
yeah,
I think you can afford playing this card.
That's cool. We'll talk about booze. This is your kind of really, from the looks of things, your way to get the booze going. You know, you play it, they boo, and when it goes, you boo again.
Yeah. If you want to think about the value of this card, it's blocking 3, obviously. So it's not the requirement of playing in your deck is low. Having 2 biggers on 2 different turns is fine because you can set up the feature on the game. And the Kraus boost you allows the other reviled attacks to have the full bonus of his attack while they are attacking. So maybe if you are triggering one or two of these effects, this is a big enabler for your deck.
Okay.
Is doing the setup of 2 turns, and if you have the tunic, you can fit everything to keep rolling and keep attacking turn by turn.
That's cool. That's cool. And then Steal Victory. When this defends, steal an aura token attacking hero controls. Does Steal give it back?
No.
Right.
That's the best part. That's the best part of this card.
Yeah.
The value is super easy to calculate. If you're playing against an agility hero, you're you're the happiest people on the earth, if you're stealing a might, bigger, toughness,
Frailty.
a spectral seal, a frailty,
a rune check.
a pounder. Imagine drawing a pounder.
Imagine they play Codex and you go, I got a ponder token. I steal
your victory.
Yeah, you're like,
and you block it. I mean, there are a lot of interactions, and this card is like super strong in Kayo. Is one of the reasons to play the Reviled Brute hero. Even if it's a block, the card is insanely good. I've made a lot of crazy things. Maybe my favorite one was when I was playing on my testing with this deck, and I was playing against Feng.
Yeah.
And Feng attacked me with the first weapon.
Yeah.
And he had exactly three fealties, and I was like, I steal your fealty, and you cannot continue your turn unless you pitch a card.
Yeah.
So the value of this card is just,
Yeah, just rockets
over 9,000.
Yeah, that's really cool. That is really cool. So I'm trying to think of. I think we've gone through the main deck stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right. So your inventory. I know you kind of did go over the big bully tactics, tear down these idols, and gang robbery. Right. That is your outside interference cards. Okay.
Yes.
Now you've got 6 cards that you would be able to slot in, and I know that's what you like to sort of you play that core deck, and then you add, make the you put the cards in as you feel you need it, which is really also interesting because you've literally got 4 cards that are just like, I'll put this in mid game. Mid game, I'll start building my deck. Right, we'll go through this. I can see your Sink Blows and Shelters of the Storm are your defense reactions. They're coming in for what? Who?
Yep. Yeah. As you can see, my main deck has 54 cards.
Yeah.
So I want to make easy to everyone to understand what we want to do with the sideboard. This time, we're running Symbolos and Shelters that go for the 60 if you're playing against an aggressive hero. Don't be afraid of swapping Shelter of the Storm for Fate for Sin. Shelter of the Storm is 1 point ahead from super specific situations, but maybe if Syndra is not on the metagame, you don't really need this card.
No.
So Fate for Sin can be perfectly swappable for this card, and is the defensive package.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we have this toolbox. Let's say you want to play all your full hand. I don't know how to name it.
Right.
You have Cruel Ambition.
Yeah.
That is an action that creates 3 Might tokens with Go Again.
Yeah.
It's super cool if you're going first. And it's an easy way to set up turns if you're playing against a defensive hero, or you want to keep going with the pressure and the aggression if your opponent is blocking and just doing the value. And on the other hand, we have Sigil of Solace, which is like, it blew my mind the first time I saw this. That is a way to trigger all your boo attacks. Yeah. Because you gain 3, and then you say, okay, now that I'm gain 3, I attack you and I trigger all my abilities. So maybe your opponent can just block the first attack because your opponent doesn't want to give you, this ability, and you have a way to say, okay, now I gain 3, and you and what is happening? As you don't have an easy way to do 2 damage. Yeah. With the other attacks, with the other reviled attacks, this is an easy way to trigger it. So it's like exactly the opposite that everybody thinks. This is not the defensive card in this deck. This is a card that you want to keep. Also, there is another trick. Yeah. I love doing this with these decks. It's like, I attack you, I threaten you KO, and you overblock because maybe you're in a situation where you don't want to go that low on life, and you say, okay, now that you have blocked with everything, I gain 3. So you can spend your hand to do that.
Yeah.
Is I want to keep with this cheating, this cheating feeling that you want to feel when you're playing this deck.
Yeah, absolutely. You're just being underhanded the whole way. And now look, I see 2 pummels.
Yeah, Pummel is it's a card that fits perfectly well with Tunic and Vigors, right?
Yes, I'm just more thinking of the cost of the cards. I mean, I suppose really it's going in with the show strength swing big CNC big bully. Do you get situations where, and maybe outside interference as well, but you've got a lot of low cost cards in there? Does it create some situations where you go, this pummel's a bit awkward?
Yeah, that's the reason why I don't want to run it in the main deck. Yeah. Because it's a card that fits perfectly well with the Brute cards, but not with the Revive cards. Sure. So maybe if you want to play this card, it's because you want additional hits, if you want to make disruption to your opponent. The boring and bread and butter card that we are running in the deck is the Jack Be Nimble. Mm-hmm. It blocks for 3 and goes for 4. This Pummel brings a little bit of spice if you want to create more on hits on your opponent. Yeah. Especially against decks that doesn't block that well. No. So this card is the one that you will swap if you're playing Pummel.
Yeah, that's cool.
As you said, there are a lot of attacks in your deck that it costs that doesn't fit what you want to do with the Kayo ability. But as I said with the CNC, I want to make your opponent feel that every time that I do an attack, there's a real threat.
Yeah.
So if I attack you and you overblock because there's a pummel and you gain 3 life with the Sigil of Solas, this is the feeling I want to transmit with my deck.
You know what? Someone pointed this out, and I can't remember what the podcast or the channel was, and it could quite well be that it is maybe Arsenal Pass or Runaways. I can't remember, and I apologize to whoever mentioned it. Kind of feels like Azuri.
Yeah, exactly. It feels 100% like Azuri.
Yeah.
When I explain that.
Yeah. I'm going to do this.
Okay. I'm going to put this card here. And now you have to take the decision of what to do. Yeah.
I overblocked. Okay, cool. Your turn. Oh. I underblocked. Wrong. It's just constantly just throwing out wrong answers. Okay. And just to sort of null rune package is for Arcane. Cool. Right. Yeah. And that's it. We kind of went through your main deck and the sideboard cards. There was quite a lot of maybes in there.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go through all of them, but I think all of these cards are the cards you would encourage everyone to have a try out. And you're probably going to be asking questions around the interactions of why these cards. And I imagine you put these in the maybe pile for you to have a go. And, they're also on your mind.
Yeah. I want to just talk about 3 cards. 2 of them are the same.
Go for it.
I want to talk about the yellow looking for a scrap.
Yeah.
I just want to say that if you want to include this card, is you're going super super rock on the game. If I was seriously considering playing this card, so this really blows my mind. If someone tells me when we talk before the video that my first deck was Outsiders, if you tell me in Outsiders that I will be running this card in yellow in Brute, that could kill me. Okay?
Yeah. Imagine.
And trust me, it's not that terrible.
This yellow looking for a scrap. Trust me, it's gonna work out really well for Brute.
And on the other hand, there are like 2. Another signature card that I want to talk about is the Cheater Charm and the Chip Shot.
Yeah.
In the Cheater Charm, this card, I don't like that I cannot run it in this deck properly.
Right.
I mean, it's still confidence, still toughness, is super neat. Sometimes happens. Okay. The cross boost you is okay.
Yeah, that's good.
But this card requires If you control an attack with 6 more strengths, deal 2 damage to your opponent unless they discard a card. If you want to play this card in defense, if you block with a 6 strength attack, you can trigger this. But it's not that easy to block with this deck and have this card at the same time and then take advantage of the vigor. There are a lot of requirements if you're playing this card in defense. And if you're playing this card in offense, you're keeping a lot of cards in your hand and this card doesn't block. So it's maybe there's something I'm not understanding in the design of this card because I cannot play properly. Maybe I should play it more and see more interactions. There are more moments where I can play this. But I feel like they're wasting a big opportunity of doing a really cool card that can work with Kayo.
Okay.
And
okay.
On the other hand, we have Chip Shot, which is super cool. I like the card. I played it, and it's super funny to play. It works. I mean, it makes you feel that you're cheating in the game. That makes you feel that you're playing this cheater KO.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, blocking 2 and doing 2 damage is not that much.
Sure.
So this card is like, okay, maybe you can build something around playing these 2 cards and playing a lot of ways to push damage and do 2 damage in the middle of the attack. But there's another thing that all these attacks like Big Volley, like Mocking Blow, it say when this attacks. I'm sorry, not the Big Volley. It's the Mocking Blow. The Mocking Blow says when this attacks. So it's just to make everybody understand what I'm saying is like you cannot cheat on the middle of the attack because these attacks, the crows boost you, takes when you're attacking. So if you do it in the middle of the attack, the crows doesn't boo you, so maybe you cannot do all these interactions.
Okay. Right. So, summarize. Fun to play? Is this hero going to define or change or do anything in the current meta to how you feel at this current time?
Yeah, I think the other heroes in the metagame should be better positioned. But I have to say that the deck has potential to be good. It has strong cards individually, but I don't think the deck will be a tier S deck. My only problem with this deck is super funny to build. Is super because of this card that it blows my mind looking for the sideboard, and it has a lot of interactions that do 1 card 6. But my only problem is that I don't catch what they want to do with this. Okay, you need to stay ahead on lives, but you have to play these cards that are under the value. I don't really understand what they want to do with this deck in CC. It has a lot of sense in limited, but maybe on CC is a little bit tricky. I don't really know. I think it's a solid B tier at this point, but I don't really know if it will be a tier A before releasing new cards for this deck.
My sort of after with this, it's kind of hard really because you've went through all the solid testing to get to this point, and I can only comment on what I've been seeing. So I haven't explored or tried out all the other cards, but I think that Zuri, this isn't. Zuri still feels like she's just doing what he's doing, but Azuri's just doing it better because Azuri has some wild on hits, and you generally can't see this coming quite a lot. Whereas this is trading the on hits to just raw power, which is very brute. But Azuri isn't kind of there in the meta, so why would he? I'm not sure. I'm with you on this. I think he's got some potential. I think there's some funkiness. But yeah, on the bigger picture, I'm not 100% sure. But at the same time, I think this is the one thing that you could have under your belt. Trust me, from playing Bolton, is I don't think anyone's going to probably know what you're doing when you show up to a pro quest. They'll be like, okay, what trickery are you going to beholden on me? Am I doing this wrong? And you probably will the first time you play against it, right? You probably will get a lot of stuff wrong. So that might be the thing, which is his thing. He's underhanded, right? But have a go, have a play, and thank you, Daniel. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for taking the time to show off your first impressions and your first day one deck tech of KO Underhanded Cheat. Where can people find you?
Yeah, obviously on Twitter.
Yeah.
If you see the Sunflower Samurais, we're always talking about what's the topic of the day
Yeah.
and trolling with memes, obviously. And you can see me in, I believe, every big tournament I can play. You
Oh.
can come to me and talk because I love talking with people. I love the community, and I love talking with people that any other way I couldn't interact. And tell me if you like the deck. I mean, I'm doing my best. Obviously, this is a day one deck tech, but I'm always happy to help people to understand the deck quickly and try to everybody work on the deck and maybe finishing
No, that's cool.
on something cool.
And if you didn't know, Daniel is one of the guys that pretty much in the group of Samurai Samurais is the deck builder, right? So, and he's helped me quite a lot when we played on lots of different games. But just so we don't go on, thank you so much. And thank you so much, Daniel.
Yeah, thanks to you. See you all.